Hello everyone, in this video let us complete the lesson titled The Last Lesson. In the previous video, we learned the way in which M. Hamel praised the French language. We also came to know about the way in which he taught grammar and the way in which the students were able to understand well. Okay, and we also came to know that the pigeons in the classroom, when they could, M. Franz says that will they make even the pigeons sing in German? Okay, this is only an exaggeration. Okay, they are forcing everybody to speak only French, only German, and will they make even the pigeons coo in German? Okay, which is practically speaking not possible, and we also came to know about this one. Okay, now let us continue this lesson. Whenever I looked up, okay, he is talking, M. Franz says, whenever I looked up to see M. Hamel, from my writing I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, looking this side and that side and everywhere he is looking, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. Okay, so this is only imagination. Franz thinks that the way in which M. Hamel looks around is as if he wants to record everything, the structure of the classroom, everything in his mind. As if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. Fancy. For 40 years he had been there in the same place with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him. Just like that, only the desks and benches had been worn smooth. The walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hope vine that he had planted himself twined about the windows to the roof. How it must have broken his heart to leave it all. Poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the room above, packing their trunks for 40 years, for they must leave the country next day. Okay, so Franz in this paragraph says about the his teacher. Okay, says about his teacher. His teacher is looking about everywhere, looking at each and everything. He looks at the garden. So it looked as if he wanted to keep everything recorded in his mind. Okay, in the classroom he was able to listen to the noise of the way in which his sister walks in the upstairs. So that means the school was down and their home was also in the same place for 40 years in the same area. Okay, so all this must have been very much disturbing for him when the thought that he should leave the country the next day. Okay, one question. Why did M. Hamel look around sitting in his place motionless? Yeah. So please write down the answer for this question. Why did Mr. M. Hamel look around in his from his chair sitting motionless? Okay. Let's continue. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. So though he was feeling so bad, so mournful, he had listened to every lesson of the students. After writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their ba, be, bi, bo, bu. So this is the alphabet. Okay, down ba, be, bu. This is alphabet, or it can be also what do you call that rhyme. Down there at the back of the room, old Hauser had put on his spectacles and holding his primer in both his hands, spelled the letters with them. You could see that he too was crying His voice trembled with emotion, and it was so funny to hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. Ah, how well I remember it, the last lesson. Okay, so in this paragraph also he is talking about, Franz is talking about the way in which the class was going on, one after the other. Okay, then history, then there was a Babebu for the children. Okay, and the old Hauser was with his primer. What is primer? Primer is the book. Okay, a long book with a lot of pictures. Okay, pictures with the names written under it. It's used for the children to learn. Most probably old Hauser must have used it for his study when he was in the school, or he must have taken it from his grandchild. So there is no mention, but he had a primer in his hand. Okay, one question. Why did old Hauser cry? Why did old Hauser cry during the last French class? Okay, let us continue. All at once the church clock struck 12. Then the Angelus. At the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussians, returning from drill, sounded under our windows. Young Hamel stood up, very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. My friends, said he, I. But something choked him. He could not go on. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could, Viva la France, means long live France. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed, you may go. Without a gesture, he said, the school is dismissed, you may go. Okay, so this is a very emotional moment for both the teacher and the students, because that is the last day of the class and the class is dismissed. Okay, so when he wanted to say something, the voice was choking, no voice was coming. So that is why he says I twice, and he looked never so tall as on that day. What does it mean? He looked so sad, so bad, so terribly bad on that day. He had never looked so bad as that day on all the other days. Okay. So what did he write on the board? He wrote Viva la France. What does it mean? Viva la France means long live France. And he said without a gesture, very mournfully, he said the school is dismissed, and all of them had to disappear. Okay. Now some questions based on this. How did M. Hamel dismiss the class? How did M. Hamel dismiss the class? Okay, now let me also give you some 6 marks question. How does the author employ linguistic chauvinism? How does the author bring about the linguistic chauvinism in this whole lesson? You have to write down. How does the author bring about the linguistic chauvinism in the whole lesson? Okay, with this we shall complete this lesson. I shall also post some questions and answers in the group. So you have to write them down. Alright. Okay, bye bye.